Hey everyone, welcome back to Python series. In this video, I'm going to discuss about, lambda function. What is lambda function? Lambda function is a small anonymous function defined using a lambda keyword. It's a very simple function and it doesn't have any name, so we call it like anonymous. And it can take any number of arguments, but it can have only one expression. So that's an interesting thing about, lambda function. In short, if I want to say what is lambda function, it is just kind of substitution for your custom function. A simple custom functions can be written using lambda function in just one line. Okay, and it has a syntax. We just start with a lambda, and then you have to mention a parameters. Then we use a colon and then expression. Okay, here arguments in the sense like input parameters, expression in the sense like whatever expression you want to write according to a logic, you can write that. Okay, let me explain you how exactly those lambda function is going to work. Before that, let me explain with a simple example. Let's say you want to find square of given number. Let's say you want to find square of given number. We know that in order to find square of given number, usually we use a custom function. I'll just say like define. So I'll just call it like SQ and I'll ask it to return X double asterisk. This is going to help me in finding square of a number. Let's say if I pass 3, it's going to give me what is the square of number 3, which is 3 square is 9. It has to give me 9. Okay, it's not giving me answer, it's giving me error just because I didn't pass a parameter. In order to find square of a number, we need a number, right? Into a function, you just need to pass a simple one single parameter. So I missed that. So that's the reason it was throwing error. Now we got a square of a number, which is 9. So basically, to answer this question, we wrote a 3 lines of code. And shall I show you how you can find the same thing in just one single line using lambda function? Very simple. I'll just give variable name as a SQ. That's an optional. Okay. And then we write a lambda function, which is an anonymous function, no function name, nothing. We just use a lambda keyword. And to find a square of a number, how many parameters are required? Obviously one. And then you have to use a colon, then expression. So what do you have to find? What is the logic in this question? Finding square of a number. So just use X double asterisk 2. Okay, so now I'll call my variable and I'll pass a numbers. So it's going to give me square of 2, which is basically 2. I hope this is clear. Okay, great. So what next? So similarly, let's say I want to find addition of two numbers. Okay, if I want to find addition of two numbers, don't you think we need to use two parameters? So I'll just use add is going to be my variable. Okay, and then I'm just using lambda. I need two parameters, x1 colon, and expression is going to be x plus 1. And then just call your add and pass the two values 2, 3. So it's going to give me addition of 2 and 3, which is fine. You can pass any number of parameters. It's an optional. You wish. Let's say you want to find addition of four numbers. You can try defining four parameters. You can give any number of parameters, but there should be only one expression. Okay. Yeah. So next interesting thing is use a lambda function to check if number is greater than 0. How do you check whether number is greater than 0? We are checking conditions, right? So let's say check is equal to, you can give any name, left side name is optional, variable name, you can give whatever name you want. And then lambda x, and then my condition is going to be if x is greater than 0, we just say it like, it has to return a true. We are just checking, is it a positive number or a negative number? See? If it's a positive number, it's going to give me true. If it's a negative number, it's going to give me false. Okay, great. So next one. My next question is, use a lambda function to check whether a given number is even or odd. Instead of giving it like, true, false, based on a condition, it has to display something to us. So how we can do this? Any idea? So again, I'll just use a check itself. Check is equal to, I'll just use a lambda. Lambda x, one variable is enough for us. Okay, we need to check whether number is even or odd. So if you want to check whether number is even or odd, so first important thing, you have to tell like what it has to return. It has to return even, and then you have to write a condition. What is the condition? If x modulo 2 is equal to 0, it has to return a even, else it has to return odd. Okay, so in this case, lambda parameter colon, first you have to write what it has to return when condition is true. Then it should be condition, then else, and what it has to return when if condition fails. Okay, so now let me just call this check and I'll say like 2. So it's giving me like an even. If I say check of 3, it's going to give me like an odd. So this is how we use if else condition. Okay, next one. What if I need to check whether a given word is palindrome or not? How do we check whether a given word is palindrome or not? Palindrome means when you try to reverse a word, you should get back the same thing. See, mom, if you read it in a right to left or left to right, you get back the same thing. Even a madam, level, these are all, palindromes. Okay, yeah. And use the same variable check is equal to, you can use different names as well. Lambda x, one parameter is enough. And it has to return me what? It has to return me palindrome. So when, if x is equal to, how do you reverse any word or any string? We just use double colon minus 1, right? Yeah, if word is same as reverse of a word, then it has to return a palindrome, else it has to return non-palindrome. Okay, so now I just pass level, it's going to tell me that it's a palindrome because level, if you read from left to right or right to left, you're gonna get the same thing, right? And then what if I pass check of sequel? Sequel is not a palindrome, it seems like a non-palindrome. I hope this is clear. Okay. So next interesting thing is, what if you have multiple conditions? So again, same thing, I'll just call it like a check is equal to. You can use different names. Okay, I'm using a check for my easiness. So check is equal to lambda x. It's you can use at your comfort level, like whatsoever variable you want. Yeah. So lambda x colon. So first thing, it has to return me positive when it has to return me positive if x is greater than 0. Else, what I do, I'll start it again because I have two more condition. Write first condition, if x is greater than 0, it's going to give us a positive. Else, I'll write two more condition. It has to return a negative. Okay, it has to return a negative if x is less than 0. Else, it has to return a 0. Understand carefully. First, we write first condition and what it has to return if condition is true. Else, I'm writing again if else condition. One for negative, else it should be 0. Okay. So let me just call check of 10. So it's going to give me positive. If I see check of minus 30, it's going to give me negative. If I see check of 0, it's going to give me 0. Okay, basically, this is how lambda function is going to work with a multiple conditions. Always remember, lambda function is, just a short way of writing, expressing or writing custom functions. Okay, custom functions. And you might have a question, can we write all the questions can be solved using a lambda function? No, very simple ones. Simple expression, single expression, if else, multiple if condition works, but not really highly complicated code cannot be solved using a lambda function. But whenever you have a simple custom functions with if else, if else, in that case, instead of using a custom function with multiple lines, you can just use a lambda function, which can happen in just one single line. I hope it's clear. Happy learning. Thank you.